Hello, this is John C.A. Manley with the very first Blazing Pine Cone weekly update. And I got this idea from the Brandon Sanderson.
Hey everybody, Brandon here with your weekly update. So let's get to the percentage bars.
If you don't know who Brandon Sanderson is, well, he's one of the most successful fantasy writers in the world. I recently started reading his Mistborn trilogy with my son last year, and it's a pretty thick trilogy. I mean, each book is about 400 pages long. We finished the first book, no problem, just whizzed through it, and we're about halfway through the second book right now. And I found out that every week he does a weekly update about what he's working on and what he's releasing and other things happening in his world. So I thought, well, if that worked for him, because he's like sold millions and millions of copies of his novel, maybe it will help me. So starting this week, as a very belated New Year's resolution, I'll be doing a very short, hopefully I can keep it down to 5 minutes, Blazing Pinecone update. I call it Blazing Pinecone because my publishing business is called Blazing Pinecone. Now, I don't want to talk anymore about Brandon Sanderson because, well, he's sold millions of books and I'm not quite there yet, so we're going to talk about my books and not Mr. Sanderson's. Now, those who've been following me, and this is my excuse for being so late on my New Year's resolution, have been following my blog at blazingpinecone.com know that I've been away. I went to Mexico and then I went to the Netherlands. I'm back in Canada right now in my office, writing studio, storytelling cave in Canada, where I'm not going to be here for much longer as I'm moving in about 6 weeks. So it's kind of nice to get something filmed in this place where I wrote my first 2 novels. And hopefully it won't look too different when I get to the Netherlands because I'm bringing all these books back here. And another thing to show you is that I got the cover to All the Humans Are Sleeping, my latest novel. So there's the cover there, but there's the original painting by the artist. I purchased it from him, plus he gets royalties for every book sold. It's worth it. So I have that on my wall right now. It's a little spooky, but I'm thrilled. And I still have the cover to Much Ado About Corona over here. I haven't found a place to put it up because I'm moving soon. And like I said, after I went to Mexico, I went to the Netherlands, which helped me adjust because Mexico was nice and hot, Netherlands not so hot. Canada, on the other hand, was quite cold. There was quite cold and lots of snow upon our arrival. I arrived back on a Sunday night, very late, because we got stuck on the tarmac for about an hour and a half. And then I took Monday to readjust and get used to recover from jet lag. And then on Tuesday I was at the audio recording studio where I'm recording the audio book for Much Ado About Corona. This was something I had started, about a year and a half ago and had to put on the back burner. Since then, as most of you know, and I hope you've looked into, is I've done the audiobook for All the Humans Are Sleeping, which is available on Audibles. And my goal before I go to the Netherlands is to have Much Ado About Corona completely edited and ready to go on Audible. And also I'm hoping to actually sell it myself because boy does Audible take a big cut. So that's my goal right now. So I went from Mexico laying in the sun to this. This is me outside of the audio recording studio on Tuesday morning. Since I've been back, it's been 3 hours of recording every single weekday. I've been experimenting with how to get through 3 hours. It's become a lot easier. At first it was very difficult. If you've ever tried to read for 3 hours, it's not as simple as it sounds. I did experiment with going out for a walk in the freezing cold about halfway through, and that was somewhat refreshing, but I still found my energy waning. So instead of going for a walk, as you can see here, what I do is I take a nap. I just stretch myself out on the couch there, which the audio engineer is totally fine with, especially since I pay by the hour. And I just lay there and don't move for 10 minutes. I can't really say I don't think I've actually taken a nap in the sense that I've gone unconscious, but I find just laying there for like that for 10 minutes, I get back up and I'm ready to go for another hour and a half of recording. Now, I must admit I'm having some challenges with the recording because I'm learning how to speak Dutch, and in Dutch, the word for of is van. And you sometimes see this with a lot of Dutch names like Steve Van Ness. Call out to my good friend Steve. So a lot of times they'll say of, like Leonardo da Vinci, Leonardo of Vinci. So van in the Dutch language means of. And in my novel, as all those who have read it know, there's quite a bit with a bread van, V-A-N. And my mind at this point is becoming very confused. So several times in the novel, when I'm reading the audiobook version in the studio, I'll say Vaughn instead of Van. Of course, we've gone back and fixed that, which delays getting the audiobook done. But this is the nice thing about doing it in an audio studio, where I have someone who's there who can just rewind and we continue. Another neat thing is when you're reading the audiobook, despite the fact that this novel has gone through 8 proofreaders, still finding typos. Really covert typos, like this one. Can you see where the typo is? It's in the first sentence. Even when I pointed the typo out to the audio engineer, he did not see it. Like he said, no, that's fine, but it's not. You know, it should be jealousy, not jealously. Very subtle. And again, that went through all my proofreaders. So I read it properly for the audiobook version, and I'm just going to update the print version and the ebook version. So if you already bought the copy in print, I'm afraid you're going to have to live with the typo. There's actually a few other typos, some of which are in French. Not many typos, and they're very subtle. Like, I mean, if you're not looking for them, you won't find them. No, actually, you might find them if you're not looking for them, because that's usually when I find them. And if you do find one and you want to tell me about it, let me know, because I can update future versions, because it's print on demand. Because unfortunately, I'm not selling millions of copies like Mr. Sanderson, so I don't print massive runs. So when you order a book, it's printed usually locally if you're ordering from Amazon, or if you're ordering from a bookstore, it's also printed somewhat locally. It depends where you live. If you live on a remote island in the South Pacific, it's probably going to be coming from the nearest continent. Lastly, there was a bit of a milestone for me on Amazon.ca, so that's the Canadian Amazon, that Much Ado About Corona has now reached 50 ratings. Unfortunately, not 50 reviews, because people have the option of just picking how many stars they give the book, or indicating how many stars they give the book, plus writing a review. It's always nicer if they write a review, but if all you want to do is just go and click 5 stars, or 4. Actually, I would like someone to click 2, just because I haven't had a 2-star rating yet, and not everyone must love the book that much. I mean, it's averaging 4.8 stars, which I'm very happy with, but if someone wants to give me a bad review, I won't be upset, as long as it's an honest review. And now, if you haven't left a review and you've read the book, please go and leave a review, because that will help a lot. If you own the book but you haven't read it, then please read it, because as you can see from the reviews on Amazon right now, people have a hard time putting it down. I mean, there's a review like this where the man points out that it caused him insomnia, because once he starts reading it at nighttime, he doesn't want to stop reading it. And one chapter leads to the next chapter, and before you know, the alarm's going off and it's time to go to work. That is an unfortunate side effect, so you may want to read it on the weekend. And as one example, I remember Will Dove of the Will Dove Report. He got the book on a Thursday and told me, I'm pretty busy, I don't know if I have time to read it. On Monday morning, he told me he read the whole thing over the weekend. And it's not as big a book as Sanderson, but it's pretty big too. I think this is 150,000 words. I think Sanderson's a show-off and does like 400,000 words in a novel. So please, if you have not purchased it, you can go to muchadoaboutcorona.com, purchase a copy in Kindle, or in, what do we call those things? Paper, hardcover and paperback. Or if you really want the audiobook version, it's going to be coming out soon. So if you're like an audiophile and you just don't do paper and you don't read, ebooks, nothing. Well, what you can do instead is go to Audibles right now and get All the Humans Are Sleeping, which is available for download. And you can listen to that while you wait for me to finish the Much Ado About Corona audiobook. All right, well, that's my very first Blazing Pinecone weekly update, and I will be back next week. Thank you for listening.